Today I'm talking about Obsession. This is a new supernatural horror film, and the basic premise is this group of 20-year-olds all work at this music store. And wouldn't you know it, the one losery guy has a big old crush on the really hot coworker. He wants to profess his love, but he just can't quite do it. Well, one day he stumbles across this wishing stick. You only get one wish, and you can't undo it once it happens. So he goes for it, his wish is granted, but not how he hoped it would. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was a good time. It's definitely a simple story where I wasn't ever really too surprised by the beats and places it went to, but it was still an effective film. Like, they were able to convince me that this tiny little 5' nothing woman weighing like 90 pounds is just as terrifying and as scary as like Freddy or Jason ever have been. A lot of credit definitely goes to the actress Indy Navarrete, because she just made a lot of really interesting choices as a character that were so unsettling that in turn also just pulled me in. Like, I couldn't look away even though I was freaked out. And they did such a great job too with like bouncing back and forth between something that could happen in a relationship that's just not healthy and then something that is more supernatural, and then blurring the lines between the two, so it made for really exciting watching. But Indy really made the film. Without her in this role, I don't think this film would have worked as well as it does. But the film as a whole is about toxic relationships, and then more so selfishness, like how only thinking of yourself destroys the relationships around you, and then in turn how there's an underlying cowardice in selfishness, which in turn is really interesting to think about because it's not too hard to relate to the main character, because who hasn't had a crush on someone and you've been unable to admit those feelings to them because you don't know if they'll be reciprocated or if it'll mess up the dynamic of the group or what have you. But because of his level of selfishness, he makes all of the wrong choices, and that just makes everything worse. Like, he has just so many opportunities to make things better and he constantly goes the wrong way. But that in turn makes me think back to those times where I've longed for someone and have now reevaluated the choices I made in those instances. So I wasn't really expecting this to be just such a self-reflective movie, because like the main character is terrible and I don't want to be anything like that, so I'm just like making sure that I'm not is kind of part of it. So yeah, no, it's just a really interesting story told really well that makes me think about stuff, and there's lots of good spooks and some scary imagery that's definitely burned into my brain and is going to stay with me for a very long time. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and wholeheartedly recommend it. If you want a really interesting little horror movie that has just the right vibes, yeah, no, look no further. This is a delightful little scary film. And now for my ranking, I put this at number 8 in the really liked category. And this is out of a total of 35 new movies so far this year.